are the most important developments we've seen in deforestation over the recent weeks?
Well, we are now here in the climate talks in Bonn, and we are discussing very relevant issues around forest, mainly about non-carbon benefits, and if non-carbon benefits should be incorporated in the REDD+ mechanism and how. We are also discussing about the non-market-based approaches, and in particular about very interesting proposal from Bolivia about joint mitigation and adaptation interventions. So that has been evolving in the since Warsaw, and from this COP evolving in the dialogue, and we want to see how parties are going to be incorporating these things into the decisions. Of course, we want to see non-carbon benefits to be incentivized at the national level, and moving forward REDD beyond carbon, and actually recognizing all sorts of benefits that can actually be achieved by the mechanism. With respect to the idea of joining efforts to have both climate benefits in terms of adaptation and mitigation in forest interventions, we hope to see what is needed for us to promote REDD, including the adaptation dimension, because so far it's been we have been talking about mitigation, but it's very interesting to see how we can incentivize that the areas of intervention that countries are planning in their national context can actually bring also the benefits from adaptation. And finally, I guess a very interesting development is that a couple of days ago, Brazil presented formally to the convention their reference level for REDD, and this kind of like inaugurates the pipeline of the support for REDD under the UNFCCC. So we have to wait and see how the process goes. This reference level that Brazil put forward intends to produce a reduction of 1 gigaton of carbon tons. So that's actually very encouraging. We'll have to wait and see how the technical assessment goes and how the process starts actually working, because so far we have been focusing on the design of the mechanism. Now we're moving towards implementation of the mechanism. So it's encouraging.
Do you think there's a space for deforestation commitments within countries' nationally determined contributions when they submit them in March?
Yeah, I believe that's a very interesting question. We definitely are putting our ears out to see how countries are expecting to put forward anything related to forests. We are actually having a lot of conversations with people in Latin America, just because the COP is in Lima, and this is a good memento for Latin American countries to show their progress in the forest commitments, because most of the many of the Latin American countries have already established commitments of emissions reductions from the forest sector in their national legislations, and this is very encouraging for us to see. But we haven't seen this under the framework of the convention. So it's going to be interesting to see how these national commitments that they have made translated to nationally determined contributions under the convention. I believe it's a little bit of a disconnection in those two dialogues, so we would like to see how they are going to move forward with this.
And do you think countries are becoming more successful generally in the implementation of REDD-type projects and deforestation projects in cutting out corruption and ensuring they're beneficial to indigenous people?
Well, first of all, I believe that we are moving away, or we have been moving away for a long time, from the project scale of interventions to a more like scaled up interventions at the national or subnational level. So the project dimension of it is it should not be a part of it anymore. And this poses a lot of challenges, but a lot of opportunities as well to deal with these more global challenges that the countries are facing. So dealing with policy changes and policy transformations that will ensure participation of people, fighting corruption, synergies between REDD and other mechanisms and tools that are out there like FLECTI, that can help them move in their forest governance. I believe this is very encouraging, and I believe that we are going to see more and more progress. I don't think there's a way back now, because all the participation processes have been incentivizing, and we have adopted safeguards for REDD. So now that countries are moving towards implementation, that for sure there's no way back. There has to be a complete respect of the safeguards, and the right support needs to be there as well for the countries to actually undergo all these reforms and policy transformations